I'm gonna go welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everyone out there. I love being back on the mic this evening. Kyalami, round 5, logistical nightmare, Tuesday night racing, team versus team. What a mouthful. I don't even know where to start. This is, of course, one of the most favorable South African tracks out there on GT3. Currently looking at Mr. Paul Venter in his Bentley, smashing it out on just after he finished his hot lap, going for his qualification lap at the moment. So just to get everyone back up to speed, this is LNR team versus team Tuesday night racing, and just get into this. Now, while these boys are doing their hot laps at the moment, I need to bring everyone up to speed. I mean, as we do this whole team event for the season, get you in the mix. These are the teams that have registered for our season. We are at round 5. I have to admit, it's been so eventful over the time, and as we stand at the present moment looking at the points, we are nearly there. Next week, the final race, and from a championship standing points, this is the leader. So haven't shown anyone this up until this point. I thought it will be just a great thing to share. So Team BWSR leading the championship, followed by LNR Sleepers, and then of course Team FYP. We've got Dave the Dragon, I Am Appropriate Racing in there, Luxury Time Racing in 6th, Focus Punting Pole Racing in 7th, LNR Pepperoni Billions in 8th, and again of course Banana Snails. And again, let's just recap. What does this championship entail? We've got pro class drivers, we've got AM class drivers. A pro driver is mixed up with an AM driver. The combined points that they do make up equals the championship points, which then brings up to an overall championship winner. And just seems like the PWSR boys are the one to beat this season, out with a big bang, getting it up there. And as I look on the chat, plenty of boys there giving a massive shout out to the PWSR. So it's not even just me seeing that, but it's also their fan support groups on the YouTube channel. So let me see, Mr. M3 Supercharge is there, Keegan is there, It's Ridders is there. Good evening to you folks. Again, Ridders there, shouting out for the Beefaroni Racing guys as always. Good to see you boys back in the mix. And let's look at the times at the moment. We've got Stradum in the mix there. And of course, he has been so dominating over the season, with an exceptional incident that occurred last week on lap 1 at Silverstone. This week, coming back with his Honda. Rumor has it the Honda is the most favorable car on Kyalami. However, those that have watched some sim racing over the weekend would have potentially seen that it was predominantly dominated by the new Audi. So again, we don't have a lot of Audis on track in our championship, with an exception of R. Duplessis there in number 23 on the grid. But Dark Knight, 5 minutes to go, and the situation, as you see, are very, very close. I mean, 41.7 for a qualifying lap is phenomenal, and I have to admit that Stradom at this time is about 7/10 up his time, so that's going to put him into the low 41s, potentially a 40 point something. Dupree 41.707. Where does this put Stradom? Brings it up as I melted it down there. 40.83 in a Honda. Now that is phenomenally quick. I do think we're going to see quite a bit of mix of where these guys will qualify tonight, and it's not just because the AM guys are now all of a sudden so much quicker. It's just, like I say, Kyalami is a favorable track to most. I mean, those that are considered as an AM class driver would probably be classed as a very quick pro class driver on the circuit. That's how much most South African sim racers love it. as I just go and search a few things. Yeah, I've got to keep a bit of reference here for me because I tend to forget a few things. When it's my race day, I am so on point, but when it's not my race day, I am fairly off. So again, B. Dupree in the mix in his Honda there, currently in third. Like I said, the boys that are on the move is the PWSR boys. Alan Patterson in fourth, and then of his teammate, have to find him, Mr. C. Clough. And again, I've been pronouncing his surname so badly over the last season. 4 races incorrectly pronounced. I will personally and humbly apologize for that, Mr. Clough. So Team PWSR is the team to beat. As I've shown to everyone, the championship point standing is phenomenally close between PWSR and the LNR Sleepers. Anything goes. It is all about where both individuals do finish up. So again, a win for the AM and a win for the Pro generally would give you the ultimate winning scoring points, but it just hasn't been that for most of the teams, as Clough gets into position 16, and again, that seems to be like 5th somewhere in the AM class. BMW, not the favorable car in Kyalami. But then again, having said that, looking at B. Holzhausen, who did phenomenally well last week at Silverstone, taking a victory there, is certainly on point with his timings at the moment. So his best is a 1:41.8. Stradom is still unbeatable at this point. Dupree managed to get a lot closer to what he did previously. Robin van der Merwe is a sudden surpriser. Now, Robin van der Merwe is driving for Steady State. Again, a well-known entity within Logistical Nightmare, as well as all other communities. So the LNR Steady State boy, Robin van der Merwe, in 4th place, again, with an Aston Martin. I think it's quite an interesting take to have a dark qualification on Kyalami, followed by a very hot, racy Sunday day event on this track. So again, conditions are going to change when it does come to race day. So it's going to be very, very interesting. To me, I find it challenging for the boys to put it out there with 2 different timings when we do qualifying and races. It's just to encourage them to be aware of what happens. Brooker in the mix now there in 5th place. So let's just see if I can find someone that is doing exceptionally well at this moment. Wilson in 14th, car 96. He is up by his time by half a second. That's going to put him into the mid to high 41s. Definitely going to grab a couple of spots there. That puts him into 6th place. So a great final drive there for him. Doesn't look like he can do another lap. Anyone else on the mix? Van der Berg here in the final corner. He's up by half a second, but that's not going to bring him up that much into the top 10. But a great effort from his. Anyone else that picks up N Bullion for Beefaroni boys? He is on a qualifying lap, up by 3/10 at the moment. Got a bit of work to do. Now I do know that the Porsche is phenomenally great on this track, but you gotta be so rough with it. It's like you really need to work exceptionally hard to get that time down. His current time is a low 42s as he pulls over. Doesn't think he can do it. Gerard van der Merwe in Team Lambrel Racing. He is up in the mix there. Was up on his time by 2/10. It's going to bring him up a few positions. That's very, very good. Barrington Smith in 4th. He gets a good exit in the final corner. Does he? Doesn't lose a lot of time. Still going to be a 41 something for him. But will bench him into 2nd place. Now, that is a great qualification in the depths of the sector. I have to admit, that is really, really awesome. So let's just look at the times. Can I? No, it doesn't allow me. Timetables, qualifying. There we go. This is where we stand from the qualifying point of view. So Straydom, Barrington, Brooker in third. That is a good qualifying end result there for him. Followed by P. Dupree, first of the AM class. Again, it's all up to Dupree to see if he can finish strong this week. I know the last few weeks hasn't been that awfully great for him. He is being chased down by Wilson, and then of course Holzhausen is in the mix there as well. From the Blowcross point of view, we have Robin van der Merwe, Loureiro, Patterson in 9th position with a BMW 41.855. That is a quick time, considering the conditions for these boys. Of course, we got Wilson there, Wilfred Robson in 11th, Van Zyl in 10th. Now, Van Zyl has not had the best of luck thus far. Let's just see if I can do a bit of... nothing works for me today. I should have stayed in a position because it just doesn't want to do anything for me today. Nonetheless, these are the grids. Let's see if I can get a helicam up in the view. There we go. Oh, normally I'd like to do a rundown of these cars, but somehow I probably didn't press the right button. Whoever on the stream, welcome to you boys. Let's hope it all goes well is what I'm going with. I think it's going to be a phenomenal drive. There is no rain expected at Kyalami. The current track conditions is a warm 35 degrees track temperature, which I have to admit is not the same weather conditions at this time in South Africa, because in the southern hemisphere it is very cold. Currently, there we go, got everything back finally, thank you. It's a bit of control back in the mix there as the boys go out on their hot lap. I think everyone has got something to gain and to prove on today. Those that have not raced at Kyalami in a while is going to find it quite difficult. Again, favorite to those who are patient. Corner 1 is where I expect most of the catastrophic chaos to occur, but to be fair, I think everyone here, since we started the championship, has been very fair to one another. Good, clean racing all round, respectful racing all round, and then of course individuals being kind to one another. So as the boys are going to start their race just after the warm-up lap, I reckon Crowthorne will be quite eventful. Again, that is what we would classify as corner 2 at Kyalami, followed by the dangerous Yuxkay sweep and of course barbecue, where all the cars will come in together. And then of course favorite corners where we are at the moment, which is Sunset, and then of course Ingwe, the Crocodiles, and then the most dangerous corner on Kyalami is Cheetah. Hey, South African names though. And then of course for everyone watching on the stream, because I'm not there anymore, I'm gonna go congratulations to South Africa for potentially winning the opportunity of hosting a Formula 1 event in SA. I think that's going to be exceptionally phenomenal. I mean, it's been years since we've ever had such a great opportunity, and now just to think that we can have that in South Africa, back onto the Kyalami circuit, really believe that that's going to be quite an eventful year next year for the F1 calendar. This evening though, we've got some great GT3 racing at Logistical Nightmare. Oh, as there goes a Porsche off the track. Now, I don't know how that has happened. That Porsche seems to have lost his grip, and I hope he does make it back. Again, this is the warm-up out lap. No incidents will occur unless you physically collide with the barrier yourself, causing lots of accidents. As the boys line up, there is a few individuals that looks quite out of play for me, as they all get side to side here. Leader Sean Stradom. Again, this is going to be Honda versus two Porsches chasing them down into Crowthorne. Now, we all know the Porsches have got a good methodology to get off the line very quickly. As we get that green line, Honda versus Porsche helicam view to see what happens. Instantly, Sean Stradom goes defensive. Barrington Smith stays on the outer line, not being very challenging. Two Porsches, another Porsche and a Honda in the background. Everything looks quite okay at the moment. Not picking up any damage or physical accidents. Oh, one car has gone down, so McLeod, Scruden, the guy, a few individuals came together at the beginning of the race. Drive-through penalties there for blue. That's a bit weird. Individuals pairing it up now as everything comes together and it all merges well. There we go. Oh, the Delta takes a bit of time just to pick up a few things. Mare is in car 170. Something is very unusual. Mare is in the pits, Team Luxury Time Racing. Now I wonder if he joined a bit late, just missed everything by a few inches. Good to see him on track, but if he is starting from a pit lane, he is going to have a very, very long race. As the race continues, Stradom off the bench, qualified first. He is ahead of Barrington Smith by a half a second. Battles at the back of the pack though, as the boys come through Cheetah. Now this is where I sort of foresee lots of incidents occur, as Alan Patterson goes very, very wide. Now he is sandwiched in between Robert van der Merwe ahead of him, followed by, oh, that looks like Neil Bullion behind him, not a Wilson? Or is it Wilson ahead of Patterson? Yes, Anthony Wilson managed to get past Alan Patterson. Again, Patterson doesn't seem like he's lost any positions from the start. So PWSR boys looking strong. Where's his teammate Clough? Mr. Clough, I cannot find him. There he is in 17th. There we go. He is sandwiched in by Gerard Jans Montier, and then of course C Blue, who is a man in a Ferrari. Currently has a drive-through penalty. I don't really know how he got that. I somehow suspect that it was just too quick off the line or too fast before the start of the race. So that will definitely have to be served within the first 3 laps. This evening we only have a 50-minute race, so it kind of feels like a sprint race. But having said that, these boys still have to do their mandatory pit stop tire change during a certain pit time window, and of course no fueling is allowed. So these boys are heavily fueled with a 35-degree tongue twisters this evening. Tongue twisters. 35-degree track temperatures. I think this is going to be absolutely eventful. I do want to see if anyone gets caught out by Cheetah, as Loureiro seems to be having one phenomenal race at the moment. He is all over the back of that Porsche. A Brugger, who goes instantaneously defensive and again forces Loureiro to go on the wider line as they head into Crowthorne. Great cover there by the Porsche. Now of course we all know the Porsche has got a good exit. Side by side action here through Yixke up to Barbecue. Again, Loureiro knows and feels that he potentially has the faster car. That Porsche is under severe pressure at the moment. He has got 3 individuals hunting him down. 2 of them are in the Pro Class. one of them in the AM class. Now, this is not a race for Dupree to have, but he needs to keep with the boys because he is being hunted down by Holzhausen, also from Team Luxury Time Racing. So the Luxury Time Racing boys are really doing well this evening. Not 100% sure if these two Oaks are in the same LTR team, but they are certainly having a phenomenal race. Alan Patterson is right behind him, who is then followed by Wilson, Bullion, Van Sale, Neville, Paul Venter, Robson, Gerard van Vieren, Clough, Blau, Wilson, Young, Van der Paar, Greening, Duplessis, and then Lee Bullion in 23rd. Big grid here this evening. Plenty of action all round. I'm going to try and remain with the individuals here in the front end grid because this is fighting for a podium position. Now, of course, Laredo and Brooker is the ones trying to get the better end of it. This time around, the Porsche not going very defensive. Probably had a better line coming out the final corner there by Ingwe. So far superior in the second lap around the track. Potentially getting a bit of pressure there by Dupree, which shouldn't really put him off because again it's two different class cars racing. Robin van der Merwe backed out a bit. Everyone on chat going F1 baby, yeah. Everyone is happy and excited. See, the minute we go F1 talk, the world just comes alive. Who doesn't like a good F1? And especially if you can watch it live. I have to admit it. From an individual that has gone to a few F1 races, I really would recommend it to anyone in South Africa that hasn't seen a live F1 race. Go out, have fun, have a ball. Hashtag I am jealous. Hashtag just enjoy. Back to the race again. See, there's just so much excitement all day. How could you not be so happy? Kyalami race on a Tuesday night, announcement of a F1. I don't know how to better state that. As the stewards are busy in the background doing what needs to be done. Racing still continues. Brooker managing to create a bit of a gap between himself. Alan Patterson trying to filter his way through a bit of traffic. Now he is sandwiched in between a couple of AM class guys. He needs to get through, but he's getting, I would say, held back it seems. Now of course this is all about smart driving. Holzhausen is racing for a position. Wilson is trying to chase down Holzhausen. Patterson being in the mix over there, trying to get away from them so that they can have their own battle, I would assume is the objective here, because the longer he stays there, the more tedious it's going to be for him to try and catch up to Robin van der Merwe, who's currently in 6th place, about 2 to 3 seconds adrift from him. There, as you see, the Aston Martin. Bit of a glitch there from Alan Patterson. I don't know if that is ISP related, but we shall see how that evolves as the race develops. At this time, I can assure you, Nel Bullion there is the man that's chasing down Patterson. Patterson needs to chase down Robin van der Merwe. B. Holzhausen here in car 24, second in the AM class, is really doing a lot of hard work to try and stay ahead of Patterson, because he knows if that Beamer gets past him, that Aston is going to be on his rear end. As they come down the start-finish straight line, will Alan Patterson take a big dive? He does go in though. Does Holzhausen see him? Holzhausen leaves enough space for him. Patterson makes the move stick, goes around the outside. Great move. Now he needs to break away, but that does put Holzhausen under severe pressure because now he's got Anthony Wilson on his rear end, which is what he would not have wanted. Again, this is for AM class position. This counts more as opposed to the battle with Patterson. Now, I would hope that Holzhausen is hoping that Allen can get away and he can stick on his rear end, create a better gap between himself and Anthony Wilson. So luxury time racing under heavy pressure from Anthony Wilson in TVT Wilson. Where did these boys come up with their team name? Wilson giving away there for Nel Bullion. He went very, very deep though. I wonder if that is a strategic move because it's an F1 sale versus Nel Bullion battle here. Wilson probably playing the long run game here, knowing that he does not need to battle with the pro class guys. His objective and target is of course Holzhausen and not the pro boys, so left a lot of room for two boys to pass him. Now he's got to be hopeful that they do have a bit of speed and do not cause him to fall back more, because in his rear view mirror is Gerard Janssen van Vieren in the McLaren, who is subsequently being hunted down by a pack of AM boys. We have Robson there in the Honda, Clough in the BMW for PWSR, another Wilson here in the McLaren also for Team Lambro Racing, and then of course Kel van der Berg in the Mercedes. So Wilson might have done a smart move to move out of the way of the Pro-Am guys, but he needs to be cautiously aware that there's a pack of them hunting him down. As we look further down the back, big battles here going on between Paul Venter, who's somehow in 23rd position. So what has happened to Paul Venter? He did, however, qualify very well. Paul Venter has gone down 9 positions with Neville. Now these are two types of class car racing, all not looking very happy with that Bentley at this time. Oh, at the moment. Quite strange. Really wonder. Barrington Smith, what happened to Berries? Berries is out. We have lost the man that was in second place. Ryan Barrington Smith out of the race. Catastrophic failure from his point of view. I cannot see him on the grid anymore. Therefore, I would assume that he has disconnected. That changes the grid significantly in the front back. Brooker now the man in second place, followed by Loreiro, and then of course Robin van der Merwe and Alan Patterson there. The big changes now purely just because of that partial disconnect, or as what I would call it, catastrophic failure. And I do wonder what has happened. If Barrington Smith does come back on stream, let me know what has happened, man. Love to know your story as we go back to the racing again. Bit of a glitch there by Alan. Really would want to know what's going on the racing servers. I wonder if that's a server thing or whether that is a configuration scenario. I mean, I believe the server is set to South Africa, so we should not see any connection problems. Unless it's a outage power problem, which is very, very probable, I might add. Get back into the action. Let's just go get some exciting racing going on. Front mix of the back. P. Dupree there, he and Loreiro in two different class type boys battling it out in the front and the back. Now if Dupree continues on this mission, he is up for a potential victory in the AM class. He's got a good buffer between himself and Holtzhausen, currently in 7th, aka 2nd in class. So all he needs to do is continue that momentum. Then of course we have Nel Bullion here, who has managed to catch Holtzhausen. He now too needs to get past Holtzhausen to try and see if he can catch Patterson in the BMW ahead of Holtzhausen. Now, same scenario as before. These boys don't realistically race one another based on their classifications. However, there is no obligation for the AM guy to open up the track for the pro guy. I mean, it's all about strategic racing. You got to plan around properly. If you end up giving space away to the pro class guys, you might just be caught up by someone in your rear end view. That's what Holtzhausen needs to be aware of. Wilson is still there in the mix. He, however, has F Van Zyl ahead of him from Team Luxury Town Racing as well. So, a couple of good battles, I have to admit, between the pro and the AM class guys this evening. Again, I would have assumed that most individuals and those that do love to race on Kyalami would most certainly have a great race here. As penalties are being dished out here, car number 15 in the Lamborghini, Bosun Guignon Racing, which I believe is probably a new name here. I can't recall seeing this man here, but he's in the Lamborghini. He has got a 5-second penalty dished out to him. I wonder if I can go to the stewarding racing conditions to see what it is. It is between car him and car 447 that has had an incident. So contact between himself and then of course Scruton, who is right in his rear view mirror, did come together at some point. Penalty awarded to car 15. Again, that is a free, I would say a free position if Scruton does manage to keep up with Tarkash. That's very hard to say. Neville there also in the mix. So again, these AM boys are fighting it out. There is a few of them in the back. We have Tarkash, Scruton, Neville, and then of course Paul Venter. Also a 5-second penalty there for him. As he spins around, gives a double donut whammy, sits there at the Lukop. Doesn't look like he's gonna move. He's gone back into the pit. Paul Venter is not happy this evening. I am not 100% sure what has gone on there. Let's see if we can pick that up, just to see what has really happened to Paul Venter as he comes up to the line. Oh, slight tag there between himself and the Porsche. So again, he took the inside line. Does seem like he went a little bit too deep at Lukop corner. Got a sudden tag on the Porsche on the outskirts, and then that spun him around. So not a fantastic race there for Paul Venter. Probably one of those that he wants to write off and never return. Awful bad luck. That's what it looks to me. I am not part of the race directing team, but I cannot blame anyone there. That just seems like he probably outbraked himself. I could be wrong. As we look at Nel Bullion here, I've got to go back to the mid-pack racing. Again, here by R. Duplessis, who's having the race of his lifetime this evening. He's got a few boys hunting him down. The Audi is in great battles. He's got a Porsche, a McLaren, a Lambo, and then of course another Porsche trying to hunt them down. So one of the great races for Duplessis. I bet to see a bit of the mid-pack boys in some racing passing maneuvers, because I think a lot of focus is always given to everyone on the front end of the race. I tend to enjoy going to find some where all the action is. Pit window open, so there are 12-minute pit window open where the boys need to go and pit. Let's just see who gets in there first. A. Wilson in the McLaren car number 5 has gone in. Again, from recollection, he and Gerard Janssen van Vieren are teammates. No one else has jumped. Lee Bullion in the pits as well. He's followed by no one else. So 2 boys straight into the pits the minute the pit box open. All they need to do is just a mandatory tire change swap. Track conditions are still 35 degrees C. Fairly standard, no real wind, no chance of rain. Again, these boys can comfortably go into the pit stop, get their tires, get it into the mix. As Neville looks like he is going for the inside line. Is he going to force Duplessis on the outside? Yes, he is. Is he going to make a roundabout move? Now, this is quite tricky. 2 of the cars side by side through Sunset. Porsche takes the inside curve. Beautiful move there by the Porsche. Fantastic drive. I've been taking it on the outskirts of Sunset, getting the inside line of Clubhouse. Porsche makes his way through, so that is 1 position gained there by Neville. He needs to open up the gap between himself and Duplessis. That still puts Duplessis in severe pressure because now he has got Scruton behind him. And Scruton seems very racy this evening. I think his fastest lap times at this moment is a 43, almost dead. Duplessis is running similar pace but far slower. Both of these boys goes in the pits, opens it up for Drakash, who then continues to race. Neville also continues to race. More boys in the pits. We have Funsail, we have Clough, Duplessis, Scruton, front running boys out in the mix. Sean Stradom just setting the fastest lap of the race with a 41.3. Now that is quick. Like that is so close to his qualifying lap. Like, that is phenomenally fast. That Honda is certainly OP. Someone needs to put a bit of dead man weight on it. Back into the back, Holzhausen in the mix there. He's got a couple of Porsches behind him. So again, Nel Bullion closed the gap between himself and Holzhausen. 2 different class boys fighting it out. That's Lee Bullion in the background moving away from, it seems to be that Anthony Wilson. Does look like it to be, yes, Anthony Wilson in the Aston Martin. Being lapped. Now he is being chased by Robson in car 764. Looks like he's got a better race this weekend as opposed to last week's wet race on Silverstone. Still a couple of boys with penalties. Race control very, very busy this evening. I can see there's about 3 more incidents to be reviewed between car 42, 296, 15, 19, 89, and then of course 3. So where are these boys? Blue flags being waved. Plenty of action out there. That's car 211. That is Gary van der Haave being waved by the blue flags. He is allowing the boys to get past him. Everyone still in the pits. Battle in the AM class is narrowing down lap by lap at the moment. Holzhausen being chased down by Wilson. Then is being chased down by Robson, and everyone that was sandwiched in between them has gone into the pits. And if I say everyone, I am going with Robin van der Merwe first, the first man leading from a pit stop point of view in car number 6 for Team Steady State. He is of course being chased down by Alan Patterson there, not far off the pace there. Let's go look at what these boys did in their pit time window. So from a pit point of view, Gotta admit, like Robin van der Merwe smashed it out with a 58-second pit window, which is identical to Alan Patterson in 58 seconds. So you have to admit, like Alan Patterson, week after week, brings it in with a phenomenal pit stop mentality. I need to know what that man does to get it right every single time. So I reckon this week, to beat would have been him. Fluff, on the other hand, smashes a pit time window of 57 seconds. I think my bragging rights every week from now on is to see who the fastest pit stop man is. The same as what they do in the F1 classes. Normally it's dominated by Red Bull, followed by everyone else that tries and wants to be them. Here at Logistical Nightmare Racing, team versus team, it just seems like the PWSR boys are the equivalent of the Red Bull boys on Formula 1 when it comes to pit stops. Like 57 seconds is a phenomenal pit stop by Clough. In, out, done, dusted, quickest man out of the pits. Phenomenal. I'm gonna bring you boys back to that as I go hunt down for more action all over the show. Leader of the race currently in the pits. Brooker, on the other hand, is now the new leading, technically, race leader based on pit stop completed. He's got a good gap between himself and Robin van der Merwe. So again, this is not yet finished. I reckon it will be a tight finish between the Porsche and of course Patterson. So Porsche, Aston Martin, BMW, this is where I believe the challenges will come through, as the remaining guys who haven't pitted yet go into the pits. Robson still the only man on track at the moment, him and Neville, who has not yet pitted. Of course, then is Dave Young in his Mercedes-Benz. So from the Dave and Dragon team, also needs to do his final pit stop. 23 minutes of racing left. Let's take a quick sip there. Let's just go have a look and look on the chat. I was hoping to see Ryan Berrington-Smith. Orange light on the router. He is, I would say, peed off now. That is absolutely terrible. So Ryan Berrington-Smith have severe internet connection problems. That ISP has let him down. He would have had a solid second place. Like, really, he was doing phenomenally great. I don't think anyone was there to challenge him. So Berries, I honestly feel gutted for you not managing to finish the race. Paul also on the stream here. Now Paul, again, I would probably say killed himself. He's probably going to go with a wall jumped in front of me. I'd love to know what has happened to you, Paul. Give me a shout out, and then I'll see if I can catch up on the chat. Robson in the pits. Dave heading into the pits. Sean Stradom out of the pit box now. That is a big gap between him and then of course Brooker. By calculation, that looks like a good 20 seconds gap. He might as well go back into the pits and pit again. Like, Sean Stradom has got absolutely no one to challenge him. Brooker, on the other hand, seems to be in a position to take a potential podium this week on Kyalami. From my knowledge and word on the street is that Brooker does love Kyalami. Not a local South African boy, so it's good to hear that there's more individuals out there that does love Kyalami. I mean, you can't. How can you not like the track? It's just so beautiful with corner names like Barbecue and Clubhouse and Mine Shaft and Cheetah and Crowthorn. I mean, it just screams party, have fun, brilliant, and enjoyment, like all over the show. Phenomenal track, phenomenal. Alright, that's now enough of me gloating about the track itself. I can probably go on forever. So, Pro versus Am, 2 spins. Is that the word? Okay, so Paul goes Pro versus Am, 2 spins. I'll figure out what that means afterwards. Reagan, the Clough has passed Robson in the pits. Phew! M3 supercharged, you are on point. Definitely on point. So Clough has passed Robson in the pits. That is 100% correct. PWSR boys is doing quite well. Alan Patterson is now in 4th. Holtzhausen, on the other hand, is ahead of Dupria. Now, how did that happen? If we go by pit stop indications, they all did a similar pit stop time frame. To be fair, Holtzhausen, on the other hand, has beaten the record of pit window with a 55-second, and that is very, very quick. So Holtzhausen, the man in first position for Team Luxury Time Racing in the AM class, ahead of Dupria, ahead of Wilson, has done the fastest pit stop on the track this evening.
Pit window is closing down.
Let the record states we have a new victor in pit stop timeline. Phenomenally good there. Clough is catching up. He has got a Porsche ahead of him, which the Porsche has got about 3 AM class cars ahead of him. That looks like Dave Young. No, Cameron Drake. Cameron Drake not having the best of races this evening. He is completely out of sync this evening. Now, I don't know why and what has occurred. I mean, Cameron Drake is the man that could have won last week's race at Silverstone. This week, he is completely out of sync, 3 laps down to everyone else, continuing to race. So thanks to him for trying to finish the race as it stands, but he just does not seem like he is having the best of races this evening. Anyone with a scoop on that can let me know how that goes. A. Wilson, he and Loreno battling it out here. Again, 2 different class type cars having a go at each other. So Lambrel Racing versus Team Luxury Time there. Van Zyl having a great race this evening. Normally struggling so much. No Bullion. He has still got a bunch of AM cars ahead of him. Sean Stradom putting up a new fastest time of a 1:40.9 race time. That is quick. That is really, really quick. Everyone else doing quick times as well. Low 41s and 42s. That is phenomenally quick. Any more battles? Duplessis here and Turgage still continuing their battles prior to the pit stop time frame. Scruton and Neville, however, on the other hand, has gotten far ahead of everyone else. Blue here in the AM class, he is trying to make positions here with car 23, so this is 2 Ferraris battling it out. AF course, and then of course, I don't really know how this works, so we've got 2 AM boys in the same team. I find that strange. I need to get the admin boys on top of this. What has happened? What has happened is what I'm asking. Nonetheless, let's go back to the racing. Oh. Marva, Patterson, the top front running boys doing the best they can. I think I'm gonna go with, there we go, Sean Stratum. Now he's got 2 Ferraris ahead of him. And then of course he's got a Bentley teammate of Paul Venter there behind him, so Mr. Gary van Haar in between the mix. I'm gonna go from a interior driving position point. Let's just have a look and see what the fastest man on track can do at the moment, filtering his way through the traffic or through the traffic itself. Great drive there by Sean Stratum in Honda car 394, current leader of the race. Just managed to pull over 141.9 in that lap, and he had a bit of traffic. That is just exceptional driving as the battle still continues here for 2nd, 3rd and 4th place. Again, it seems like Alan Patterson has settled in very nicely there within his situation. However, Brooker is being chased down by Robin van der Merwe in car number 6 in the Aston Martin. Of course, one of those cars that generally does well at Kyalami. So it's good to see a good mix of cars here. Strangely, I have to admit that the scenario in this week's race is very different to what I have experienced over the weekend, whereby Kyalami was just a pure dominance of Audi cars. This week we've got a good mix of 3 different classes. I mean, Honda, Porsche, Aston Martin, BMW, 4 types of manufacturing cars in the top 4. So really, really interesting to see that. And again, the battle still continues as we have about 12 minutes of racing left. The AM class guys have a far closer battle at this stage as opposed to the Pro Class boys. Again, we have Holzhausen here in 1st position in the AM. He is being chased down by Dupree, but is being placed under a lot of pressure there by Anthony Wilson, who I would believe is having the drive of his life this evening. Like, this is a phenomenal turnout by him. And just look at how close the back is still. I mean, that was just Alan Patterson there, and in the left hand side of the corner we have seen, and in the rear end there we have Clough. So again, from Patterson all the way to the back is in close proximity to another. Just to give you guys a heads up on the map at point, this is where we sit. They are so close to one another, it's just absolutely unbelievable. As the battles continue going forward, so everyone making their way towards the front end of the grid, slowly but surely. And 10 minutes of racing time still left. The question remains, who has the big moves left in the final minutes of the race? In most instances, it's far easier to catch someone at Kyalami than what it is to pass. As Anthony Wilson makes a big mistake there, going through Clubhouse. Now he has probably outbraked himself, lost so much positions, and that's gonna put Clough on his rear end, which means the podium position is potentially up for grabs there between Clough and Anthony Wilson. If Wilson makes another mistake like that in Clubhouse, he is certainly going to lose that position. An individual that was challenging for second place in the AM class is now going to have to battle it out to keep his third place podium victory in the AM class. A battle to be determined. And I'm fairly sure certain individuals on the stream will be heavily excited to see that. That gap is now less than a second. This is where I go with never say die moment. As the Mercs there on the outskirts just continuously struggling to find any momentum at all. And again, I would believe that is Drake again. As we go slightly back of the back here, Gerard Jansen van Vieren here. He is currently sandwiched or being sandwiched in between a pro and an AM class driver. So that is Wilfred Robson in car 764, who is on the rear end of himself and Van Vieren and Van Zyl. Sorry, too many fans here. Of course, this would be a great result for Van Vieren, but also an exceptional result for Van Zyl, considering he has had quite a bit of bad luck throughout the season. The one that comes to mind just in my head was the Alton race where Van Zyl just qualified so well and then had a sudden incident and went all the way to the back of the pack, just couldn't get his momentum back into it again. Now he's been battling it out here with Van Vieren, as two of them potentially might go side by side to Cheetah. I don't think this is wise. Both of them backing out being the wise decision. I don't think this battle is finished yet. Just keeping an eye between Wilson and Clough. The gap maintains to be the same. Robin van der Merwe is struggling to catch Brooker. Patterson seems to be settled to where he is at the moment in fourth. So the biggest battle on track here as Robson made a move there on Van Vieren down into Growthorn. That is a big dive though. Robson kind of probably feeling like if you can't do it, I'll do it approach there. So this is now the Honda going to take on the BMW. Definitely some class racing by all these individuals on track at the moment. Fairly few exceptional incidents recorded throughout the race. Got 23 on my radar. as we look at Robson, is he going to make a similar move to Van Zyl? No, stays on the outside. Van Zyl being very defensive there in his blow cross racing. Again, that is a clever drive from him, because the last thing he would want to have is another Pro Class driver on his rear end. But Robson is having a phenomenal race on his end. This is probably a top 10 finish for him, which I think is very, very exceptional. Now Bullion, he's got Anthony Wilson again on his rear end. Clough on the other hand hasn't managed to crawl in Anthony, maintaining his race at this stage. Again, very hard for the BMWs. I have to admit it. As much as these boys are having a phenomenal race, the BMWs in warm track conditions is just not ideal. It feels like the car just doesn't have enough grip, and it's quick, but somehow when the track is warm, the front end tire grip it's not there. You can do whatever you want. You can play around with your traction control. The grip just doesn't feel like it's there when it's in conditions like these. So again, my hat's off for the guys like Van Zyl, Clough, Holtzhausen and Patterson doing great, consistent lap after lap at the moment. It is quite difficult. When the track conditions do change and it does get cooler, that's when the BMW stride comes in, because it then huffs and puffs far better as the track conditions cool down. But we have about 4 minutes of racing left. I can assure you the track conditions is not going to cool down. Robson, on the other hand, has managed to make ends meet of Van Zyl. How that has occurred seems to be done quite well. I've missed that completely. So now that puts Van Zyl under severe pressure again there by Van Vieren, who has subsequently to that, looks like he's got 2 Mercedes-Benz drivers behind him. Or is that one Mercedes-Benz, which is Drake, and then of course another Honda there. Now, who's that Honda? Is that Sean Stradle? No, it's not. It's Robson. So what has happened to Robson? Robson must have made a mistake, because he's now fallen back 2-3 positions again. Something had to have occurred. I honestly don't know what, but it definitely did. Dave Young here. He is the man chasing down Neville. He is having a good race this evening, currently in 17th position, chasing down a Porsche for position here. Still got Scruton behind him, and then of course Van der Berg, and then Duplessis in the Audi, who's had a great race. Lee Bullion there, also having a phenomenal race. And then we have Sea Blue here. In 22nd. Alright, let's go front and back for less than 2 minutes remaining. Will this be the final lap of the race leader? I would guess so. Does look like it. We've got about 1:25 left. Lap times at this moment for the race leader is about 1:41. I don't believe he crossed the line with enough time to finish another lap though. I will keep an eye on it at this moment. Brooker at this stage is still in second. He is held his position quite well. Great race start for him, and a second place podium is in the bag. Robin van der Merwe in third, Alan Patterson probably in fourth. Holzhausen is once again potentially going to take a victory at Kyalami. He has managed to outsmart, outrace Dupree. Now, whether that be a slight incident or an accident from Dupree losing all that positions and momentum, it doesn't look like it was a pit stop fumble because they both had similar pit stop times. However, Holzhausen did put down the fastest pit stop window this evening, so I do wonder what did occur there. And then, of course, we have A. Wilson that's currently in third place in the AM class, who's being chased down by Clough. So final few corners, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Is this race finished? This is race finished. Sean Stradom takes the victory, and have to admit, a phenomenal race by him. There was just no one or anyone near the vicinity of Sean Stradom to actually challenging this evening. As we go back to Brooker, he's coming through the final corner here. That is a second place for Brooker. Flashes his light, gets the checkered flag. Brilliantly done by him. Robin van der Merwe in third, and then of course Alan Patterson in fourth, who has got Holzhausen, first AM class guy, outruns Dupree, Nel Pullian, and then of course Anthony Wilson, followed by Clough, and then of course Van Sail, who's been battling it very hard with Gerard Janssen from Vieren there in 11th, Robson in 12th, Dolano in 13th, Greening, Wilson, Neville, Scruton. Oh, thank you, boys, getting through the checkered flag again, taking his victory lap dance there. Oh, that sounds awful. His victory lap. Sean Stradom taking Kyalami by storm. Didn't have the best races at Silverstone last week, but he is most certainly back in the mix. Now again, for everyone on the stream, I've got to go and say big thanks to you boys for your support. Absolutely loved it. It is a close championship, but I think if the PWSR boys continues the way they do till date, they might just take the championship. Do check us out next week. Details to follow. As it stands, we will be at Misano, but that might just change based on the DLC standings. Let's just go to the timetable so that everyone can see where everyone has finished. So again, next week, same time, same place, and of course we will be hosting our final race. And then of course those that are keen and interested, do go to our simracing.gp platform. We are hosting quite a bit of mini endurance races, 2.4 hours of a couple of races over the next few months or so. Do sign up there for some fun races. This weekend we are at Spa. So if you haven't entered the team, please go out, give us a shout, do register your team. Hope to see you boys on track. It's just in command, in acknowledgement of the 24-hour Spa that's going to be up and coming at the end of this month. We're doing a 2.4-hour race, and that's just for great fun. To everyone else out there, I thank you. Best of luck. Love your support. Good evening. Have a good night. God bless. Goodbye. Adios.